Is this the man who's been terrorizing Stockton, California? They're saying they may have a Stockton serial killer. And unfortunately, this is the best the police can give us for right now. A video that starts with a flicker and shows somebody wearing dark clothing making their way in front of a building. They turn at the end. We can't even see what the skin color of this individual is. We only know they walk with a bit of an odd gait, and that's going to be important. Remember that as we go along, because I've got all the information that we know so far. This is the Stockton police chief. And Police Chief Stanley McFadden was finally addressing these concerns after people were freaking out and the media was freaking out about a potential serial killer. He said, yeah, that's what we're
I
dealing
said
with.
before, we would reconnect with all of you when we have some more case developments, and that's why we're here today. I first want to address the comments regarding Stockton having a serial killer. That's what's been messaged. That's the big question that we keep being asked. By definition, these shootings are series of killings, and so we do believe we could have potential serial killer.
Okay, first things first, his demeanor is bizarre. It kind of looks like he's smiling and excited about this when we may have 12 people who have died. Here's a collection of 5 of the shootings that they believe are related. You can see they're pretty closely grouped. All these people were approached in the middle of the night, and they didn't seem to know their attacker who shot and killed them. Only one got away, and I'm going to tell you what she said about what was happening and about the person who shot her in just a moment. Back to the police chief who noticed in the video one of the things that I noticed, that the person walked with a bit of a gait. You could see that as they were walking along. So here's the police chief addressing that. Here we go.
Also with that, we also want you to notice just how upright this person's posture is. I like to think we all have a normal gait and walk about us when we walk around, but this person's posture is extremely upright and it's noticeable. That's something else that you'll be able to notice on a video once we show that.
So they really wanted people to pay attention to that because it could truly narrow down the potential crowd. Now, let's hear the police chief talk about the actual evidence they have that these dozen deaths are related and perhaps at the hands of one person.
But we do have ballistic evidence that are linking our cases and accompanied with some video footage as well. We have 7 cases linked, and I'm just going to give some quick stats on these cases. We find that the average age of the victim is 42. We can find that the sex of the victims are mostly male. We also find that the races are mostly Hispanic as well. I'm going to talk about the days between these incidences that we believe may have a connection. Between the incident 1 and 2...
So he goes over the timeline, which I'm going to show you now, started somewhere around April 10th of 2021. And they say at 4:18 a.m., this is very early in the morning, a 40-year-old man was shot and killed in Oakland, California. Stockton police announced on Monday the killing had been linked to the spree. All the other attacks were in Stockton. It continued just days later, April 16th, 2021. They say a woman was shot in Stockton and survived her injuries. Her description is going to be coming up just a bit. They said she told officers she was in her tent and heard somebody approaching. She found somebody holding a gun, and they believe it was linked to the spree, all because of the ballistics that ties these together. July 8th, this was after a year. What does that mean to you? To me, it means maybe this person was locked up. Maybe they were in prison for something else entirely, and they were released after a year and got right back to action. July 8th, 2022, more than a year went by. Then on July 8th, 12:31 a.m., a 35-year-old man named Paul Yaw was fatally shot in Stockton. This is Paul right here. He is one of the victims. Just weeks later, now we're back in the pace of things. August 11th at 9:49 p.m., a 43-year-old man, Salvador DeBuddy Jr., was shot and killed. And a couple of weeks later, a 21-year-old named Jonathan Hernandez Rodriguez. All of these, as you can see on the map, very close together. Then September 21st, 2022, a 52-year-old man and a 54-year-old man just 6 days later. In fact, that number keeps going up and up and up. It started at 2 and then it was at 6 and now
Now,
this.
police in California are now saying they have linked a suspected serial killer to more murders than originally thought. The Stockton, California Police Department says evidence now connects the suspect in 5 California murders from this year to 7 others across the state.
To 7 others. So now a total of 12 potential cases. The woman who survived says this, and this is important information right here. She's the only person to survive her injuries and the only one who appears to have been targeted. She said the shooter is of an unknown race, 5'10" to 6 feet tall, with a slim build. He was wearing a dark colored sweatshirt with the hood pulled up over his head, dark pants, and a black face mask. We don't see a whole lot from this person in any of this security footage. It's really kind of unhelpful altogether. Do you think this is a mass panic that's going on? Or do you think that there actually is a serial killer on the loose in 2020 in California? Let me know what you think, and we'll continue to follow this story. Subscribe and follow for more updates.